yeah, the amount of disrespect that he was being shown throughout this whole movie, oh my God, just I felt so much pain for him.
Hmm.
Her, I don't know how to like.
It's never really clear, and it was kind of before the pronoun thing, so it's kind of it's very back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, even the gay character in this play that was written by gay people is still calling him a her.
Right.
Like very confusing. I don't know when the rules like because I don't even think the rules are hard set right now. They just are what they are right now,
Yeah.
and they're
Yep.
going to change. So, it's kind of one of the things. I am an ally. I do care about you guys and everything like that. But I'm not gonna learn all of the terminology and stuff like that because it's gonna change.
Yep.
Like that, like so. For me, just know that I'm rooting for you guys and I care about you.
Right.
But
The
yeah,
way the way
that's
I basically let them lead, and in this case, in this movie, he is referred to as a he. Well, it kind of goes back and forth, and I think, and I remember, I'm not as dialed in with the drag community now as I used to be when I was actually in a cabaret show and hanging out with
that
drag
would
people.
keep you a little more informed. Yeah.
Yeah. But my understanding then was that it was very much a presenting thing. If they were in costume and in character, she. If not, he. It was very, and it was
Okay,
very,
that is
it
very
was very easy.
understandable actually.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
so I have no idea that, but that again, that was also, this was 15 years ago. This was before the great,
Why do you
pronoun,
keep saying 15 years ago?
wasn't it?
This is 20 years ago. This is 18
No,
years
no,
ago.
when I was in the cabaret show.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about when the movie came out. I was like,
No,
that
no,
was
no, no. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, this is a
No,
while
when I
ago.
when yeah, no, when I was in the cabaret show and actually,
Or, no, not
actually
18.
mixing
It's 28
20 some odd years, yeah.
28
20
years, right? 26.
almost there, yeah. Nearly 30 for
No,
sure,
no,
yeah.
no, no, no. Yeah, it's 28 because it was 96.
Right, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yep, that makes sense. But yeah, no, when I
18.
was
What
in
the
the
hell's wrong
cabaret
with me?
show, that's what I was talking about, and that was the last time I was at all interacting with the drag community, and so I don't know if it's
Engulfed in the
changed.
community.
Right,
Oh,
and
it's
so I don't know if it's changed.
definitely changed. Are you kidding me? 15 years ago, RuPaul's Drag Race wasn't even out yet, and when that hit, that became a cultural phenomena, and that like absolutely changed like the zeitgeist of America.
Oh, sure, okay. But I'm
Like,
thinking as
yeah.
what I mean is in if we're talking like whether it's a he she thing, I'm wondering if that I don't know if that rule has changed. That's my question.
Like yeah,
Because
like
I
no,
don't I don't know
well,
if we're
like in the
are
past
we even
15 years, the pronoun thing has become super heavy just in the past 5 years.
that's the thing, yeah. And I don't know
So
if how are we even drawing a line between drag queens and trans people? I have not gotten the newsletter on that one if we even are. So that's the
well,
thing.
this yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if you are a part of that community, you are in that community. If you are going to a show, everything like that, learn the rules. But
Yeah.
if that's not part of your life, honestly, like I said, I'm rooting for you. I do believe that you deserve rights and protections and all of this, the same that everybody else does. But don't knock me if I'm not like
Yeah, if I
literally going through reading books to learn all the
right.
rules and everything like that. I got my own life.
Yeah. If I have to ask you ahead of time what pronoun to call you, that's no fault of my own, you know.
I'm see. I'm what I learned is if it becomes one of those things, I'm just gonna call you by your name,
And which is yeah.
plain and simple. I will give you that respect.
See,
I will
I
never, not one time while I am on this planet, will I refer to an individual as they. I can't do it. My brain won't let me do it. That is multiple people.
not really. But I mean, it's a whole thing.
Well, no, that's like one of the things. It's kind of funny. Like, somebody like sent a meme. It's like conservative men really care about using pronouns until they tell the story where they don't want their wife to know that it was a woman that was there. It's like, ooh, that's a good point.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good point. And that was the thing, like, because I have never, like, not even before, because, and I know it's a little bit of a cheat. I know technically it's a cheat. I don't say them when I'm referring to an individual. I say apostrophe em, which yes, I know is short for them, but it doesn't feel that. It doesn't feel the same way.
Yeah. Well, I've usually copped out, because I like you said, you just call them by their name. I have trouble remembering people's names, so I have sometimes resorted to literally saying this person over here, which sometimes can be awkward if I do it wrong. But
Sure.
but I do remember one time actually. This was very endearing. I felt I was at a show. A friend of mine was doing was hosting a sort of like a local music show. A
Hmm.
bunch of different musicians. Kind of. It was not quite an open mic. It was a little bit more curated than open mic, but it kind of had that feel a little bit. It was just in a bar, one mic and one speaker.
Hmm.
Um, and after the show, I got to hang out with all the musicians, and it was a lot of fun. And this one lady there, even just like she kind of referenced me. She kind of says, and he even said, and then she stopped and turned, and I looked basically the same as I look now. Hair is about the same length, beard is about the same length. She looks at me and she goes, "I'm sorry, I should have asked. I don't want to misgender you." And I was like, "No, he is fine. Thank you for asking." And I was like, "That was so fucking cute." Like, I don't know why. I don't know why. I felt I felt like that was almost like we're going to accept you, and not just as safe, but we're going to go ahead and give you the same kind of like uh um what's the word, deference as the rest of us, where even though you have a fucking beard on your face, we're not going to assume that you go by him just as any one of us. Like, that was basically kind of like a very gentle way of her to remind me, you know, pay attention. And I thought it was very diplomatic and very cute. I
Well,
liked that.
also, way to lie. You're like, no, I go by Doc. My pronouns are Doc and Doctor.
If I had thought of that, that probably would have been really. I probably would have come off as much cooler instead of just went like, "I don't know, you're fine, you're fine, miss. We're good."
See, and you took that to one place. I take it to the exact opposite. I don't want anybody to ask me that, and I don't really want to ask anybody that. I like because that's a world where we are we are walking on eggshells to make sure that we don't offend people when the default setting should just be I'm not offending you. I'm not
And
trying to offend you. I'm not trying like literally, but
I get that,
having to
and that
take
would
all
be.
of these extra steps to go, it's kind of the same as if I told some of my black friends when I lived in Portland, a couple of people wanted to move out and they wanted to come live in Portland. And we talked and they called me up like, hey man, like, do you want to get a place? Everything like that. And one side of me went, oh my God, dude, it'd be so amazing to see you. I would love to see you. It would be amazing to have some of my old friends. Like, this would be incredible. The
Hmm.
other side of me went, this is a 6.5 foot tall, buff black man who is heavily talented and very skilled. Anywhere we would have gone in Portland, people would have gone out of their way and tripped over themselves to prove that they're not racist. And
Yeah,
his life would have sucked in Portland. Like, it feels like the exact same thing. Like, I'm trying so hard to, like, show all of these things. But if you do the exact same thing to, like, somebody else, like
hmm,
say, somebody who's black, you're being an idiot. But it's what another group wants. And just that
well,
it seems weird.
I get that, and I see where you're coming from there. In this specific situation, the reason why I took it the other way is because that was kind of.
I'm
Yeah,
talking about the subject as a whole, not that
right.
particular event.
And I get that, but I think it's kind of one of those, like, it is very much the same. Like, it is kind of an evolution where it's like, it's not like, in the same way that if you're in a group of people, you'd introduce your name to everyone. You wouldn't expect anyone to know what your name is, because it's like, I weren't you told Brad was coming? Like you wouldn't do that. No one would do that. Um, and so it's kind of like just sort of a slight extension of that, of like, let's also, consider, if someone's going to say their pronouns ahead of time, we kind of log that the same way we log their name when they introduce themselves, and that's kind of become a new part of the sort of this sort of social circle. Is it a
Hmm.
little bit of a step too far? Time will tell on that
It
one. That's
it
kind of
really feels like it. It feels
yeah.
like people are trying really really hard to go. Look at how tolerant I am. It's like just be tolerant. Like
and
that's
and
yeah.
that's totally fair. And like and I've talked before about how I believe that what we're seeing right now is a bit of an overcorrection, and we're
The
going to see
pendulum
the
does swing. That
yes.
is absolutely. I
There's no, it's
completely agree with
nothing,
that.
and I'm fine with rolling with that wave. And that was the thing. It's like that was what this group was. This was a group of very like queer diverse people. There were
Hmm.
gay people, there were queer, there were trans people in this group. It was absolutely understandable that it's like we sit there and have a flow chart. It's like, okay, who's trans and who's gay? Okay, so you're okay, so we got this many trans and this many, and this is the Venn diagram overlap of the trans and gay, and I'm just sitting here going like, you guys all work that out because I am exactly what I look like. And they were kind of like, you don't have to do that. You can be one of us if you want to,
Yeah,
and that
but
and that's
see, that's the thing. Is like we're trying so hard to be inclusive that we're like you should second guess what you are to make sure that you're not one of us. That is not
okay.
inclusive. That is peer pressure.
See, I didn't get that. That's the thing.
Well, and see, and
And
that is the person, that is the situation. That
maybe I was being extra forgiving in the situation because it was one of those very few minor times in my life in what I actually could tell when I was being flirted with, and so I I was high
okay,
on that, and
I
I
didn't
was
realize that there was that extra little
yeah,
bit that
because
was
it
added
was
into
she
there.
because she wasn't because it was not condescending at all. She wasn't just like, oh, I'm sorry, did I misgender you? It wasn't like that. It was very much like, oh, now I have a reason to speak directly to you. Is it okay if I call you he? Is that